I also believe that blogging, the whole process of blogging, is really something that all of us in communication got into this business to do. You basically, we are storytellers. You want to tell stories. Blogging allows. What was fascinating was to see traditional journalists who still cannot deal with this. They are used to, it's like teachers in some environments. I have been to lecture in many universities, and through my years as an academic, when you teach in the American university, there's always 20 Serena Williams in the audience. You are the professor, but we in the U.S. know from the time we're in kindergarten that you can raise your hand and you can say, Miss Jones, I have this to say. There are cultures where Miss Jones is the Queen of Sheba, okay? You don't. So I have been lecturing in universities in South America, in the Middle East especially, where you lecture for women in the morning and for men in the afternoon, the same lecture, because they cannot be in the same room. And you sit there, and you are an American, you walk the room, and you say, but when I say this, I usually get a question. And so I am always told, oh, no, you don't question the professor. You know, there are no Serena Williams, the audience. See, I'm not sure whether that's an American thing. I taught many years at Syracuse University, 120 students, 8 o'clock in the morning in those frozen winters, and at 8:15 you mention something, and then 10 students are challenging you. And this is what it's all about, respectfully. But they challenge you, professor, I heard differently, or whatever. And so we have a culture of this. But even there in the U.S., there are traditional journalists who don't want 10 Serena Williams challenges the story the moment it appears. And, and this is part of what blogs do. You play with your audience, and your audience has a right to play back with you. And this is why the statement from Harvard is so profound. News gathering and distribution has changed forever, and the audience is part of the process. Now that we are dealing with a generation of people who are so into themselves, Facebook, Twitter, all of this, that they also only seek the opinions that they agree with. In other words, you read the columns that politically agree with you, and the New York Times is arguing that we are developing a generation of people who may not go for contrary opinions. If I am a pro-Obama person, I don't want to read the Wall Street Journal that criticizes everything that Obama does. I don't want to go there.
How do you think that the corporate blogs should work? Should they have several contributors to a common space, or should these spaces, i.e. blogs, be separate and be the sort of a mirror image of each individual that contributes to that public space in which a company is expressing itself?
Corporate blogs are a different story altogether, because you have to really follow the company line. Which, if you write a personal blog, I am the company, it's me. And so I make my own decisions. Drag queen or not drag queen, that's my decision. I don't have to ask anybody else every morning what I put in there. It's just me. But I understand that with corporate blogs, which really are becoming very popular, you need to approach it from the point of view what they call the cult of personality. In other words, of the 7 contributors, who is the one who has the greatest following? And you have to capitalize on that and give that person more of a star treatment, or perhaps develop a blog that becomes corporate/personal. But in order to do that, you have to have somebody who will follow the corporate line, but who can give it a personal touch. And there are people who do this. In the television industry, there are some who do this. In the health industry, there are some hospitals that have doctors who are very scientific and so on, but they are charming. And they really express personal feelings in addition to the information. So that's the model that I can recommend to you. But in that case, you cannot have 7.
How do you think the society will be, let's say, in 20 years or 30 years without a professional group of journalists that are paid to do their job? I'm a blogger, but I cannot afford, being a journalist blogger.
Yeah. I think that the professional journalists will always be there, and they will be paid. And I think that you will see a reversal of the free information flow very quickly. In Europe and in the U.S., there is already research going on to see how they will be able to charge, newspapers will be able to charge for some of their content.
My problem is, I trying to be personal, but everything I say is potent. Because I also run a Center for Independent Journalism, I'm a freedom of expression advocate, and everything I say is perceived as being my official position. How can I deal with that?
Now, that's a tough call, because once you put it there, it becomes public property. It's in the public domain. And so, well, and I think that's why you make decisions of what not to publish. I mean, this is exactly why I would not put my picture with a drag queen in there, because it might lend itself, you never know how that story develops legs. What kind of legs that story is going to have. And so you have to be very careful with what you say. If you are also a public official, or if you are really working in other dimensions, because whatever you say there, once you put it there, it's gone.